Hi, this is Michelle in the Children's Department at the Ida Public Library. Next weekend, August 27th through 29th, is International Bat Night. I find bats to be fascinating and cool animals, although I do not recommend allowing them to fly around inside your house. For this week's Nonfiction Friday, let's check out some great books about bats. Our first book is a great introduction to the variety of bats that exist in the world. Bats, Biggest, Littlest, is written by Sandra Markle, who is a great writer of many nonfiction animal books. This book has just the right amount of text and photos and begins with an introduction to some of the biggest and littlest bats in the world. It explains why some bats might be large and others small. It explains how their wings help them fly and how bats flying is different from birds. It also talks about how bats keep warm and sleep and some of the different foods that bats eat. On this page, white bats work together to make a tent to sleep in. The end of the book has the great map showing where all the bats mentioned in this book can be found in the world. Our next book, Hello, Bumblebee Bat, written by Darren Lund and illustrated by Patricia Wynn, is a great book for younger readers. It features the smallest bat, the bumblebee bat. It covers similar topics as to the first book, but only for this tiny bat. It is laid out very simply with a question for each topic and then answered in 1 or 2 sentences. This is a great book to introduce bats to young kids. I really love this next book, The Bat Book by Charlotte Milner. This book is chock full of a ton of information with chapters listed so you can skip right ahead to the topic you are most interested in reading about. It is also heavily illustrated. The topics range from where bats live to a general description of bats and why bats are important to have in the world. It looks at bats as pollinators and shows how they help farms by eating many insects. It also talks about bats in a variety of environments, such as the rainforest or the desert. It also notes how you can both help bats and help the environment in the way that bats do. It's a great book. Our third book is a longer research-oriented book for good readers looking for a great science book. The Case of the Vanishing Little Brown Bats is also written by Sandra Markle. It is a book about, just what the title says, the mystery of brown bats disappearing. As you can see, the text is a little lengthier and readers will be walked through researching with the scientific method. It begins with observation. It shows how scientists making educated guesses as to the possible reason for their illnesses. The mystery is at least partially solved in this book. And the book shows how scientists were working to combat the disease killing the bats. The book was published in 2015, so it would be interesting to look up the topic to see what has changed since the book was written. It ends with positive notes about the future of bats. Our last book, Fly Guy Presents Bats by Ted Arnold, is another great book for our youngest nonfiction readers. It uses the popular fiction character Fly Guy to teach readers about bats. Fly Guy and his friend Buzz go to the zoo and learn lots of fun facts about bats. Even though it is meant for young readers, it still has a lot of information, such as the name of the scientist who studies bats, as well as new information discovered about a particular bat in 2013. This kind of book is a great browsing book for young kids, as they can learn a few facts even if they cannot read the entire book yet. That's all for Nonfiction Friday this week. Don't forget to check out #International Bat Night on the internet. Then stop in at the Ida Public Library to find these books and more.